rumours, lots and lots of rumours and reports that lots of MPs, Tory MPs, are deciding about their future.
Yes, because Monday is the official deadline, apparently. But, of course, people can do it whenever they like. Let's talk to former Downing Street Chief of Staff to Theresa May. Lord Barwell, good to see you this morning. Is it disheartening or inevitable to see high-profile people like Sajid Javid throwing in the towel?
I think it's a bit of both. I don't think it's a surprise. And as you were just implying, I suspect we're going to see more senior Conservative MPs making the same announcement over the next 6 to 12 months or so. But it isn't great for our politics. He's still relatively young, and I think could have had a sort of significant contribution that he could have made. It reflects, I think, two things. First, the reality that most Conservative MPs don't think they're going to win the next election. So being in opposition is not as attractive a prospect. And secondly, politics has been incredibly turbulent, as you will have noticed over the last few years. And I think some people are just, they're exhausted with it and want to do something different.
I guess it's not surprising after 12 years of the Tories being in power that people like Sajid Javid and others will think, what is there left? What challenges are there left for me? He's already held some very, very top jobs. He's probably going to move on. Do you think he'll go into the Lords, or do you think maybe he'll go back to the City?
I don't know. I would be surprised if he didn't have some role in the City somewhere, given his previous career, but I haven't spoken to him about it, so I can't answer that question. The two are obviously not completely mutually exclusive.
Well, no, they're not, indeed. True. Look, I mean, you said a lot of Tory MPs think they're not going to win the next general election. You're a Conservative peer. Do you think the Tories will win the next election?
I think it's highly unlikely. I mean, first of all, they've been in government for a long time. So even if, we weren't going through an incredibly difficult time at the moment, I think it would be difficult to win another election victory. But if you look at the polling, it's very clear that Boris Johnson and particularly Liz Truss did huge damage to the Conservative brand. And however well Rishi Sunak does over the next couple of years, it's going to be very difficult, I think, for him to win outright.
Boris Johnson has meanwhile said he is going to stand in the next general election. Do you think he is still harbouring a thought that he could actually make a comeback, even back into number 10?
I'm sure he thinks there's an outside chance of that. I mean, I think it's unlikely. But look, it's to his credit, I think, that he's going to stand again. My former boss, Theresa May, has stayed in Parliament. I think Parliament is stronger when you've got experienced former prime ministers and senior ministers that stay and continue to contribute. So although I have my differences with Boris Johnson, I admire him for saying that he wants to carry on. And I also think it's to his credit that he's implied he's going to stay and fight the seat he's in right now, which is not a guarantee that he's going to win that seat at the next election, rather than trying to run off to find a sort of alternative, safer seat. So I respect him for saying that.
Yeah. OK. I mean, it does all look quite doom and gloom, though, doesn't it, at the moment? I wonder how much is just the situation we're in, how much is down to the electoral cycle, in one sense, people just feeling ready for a change, do you think?
Yeah, as I said, I think it's a little bit of both. I think even if the Conservatives haven't been through what they've been through over the last 6 months, it would have been difficult. But if you go onto one of the polling companies' websites, they do this kind of tracker where you can look at the polls over a period of time, and you can see really from about a year ago when the Johnson government got into trouble over Partygate, and then particularly after Liz Truss's mini budget, the Conservative support fell off a cliff. And it's going to be very difficult for Rishi Sunak to rebuild from the damage that has been done. So I think both things true, that it's partly just, if you've been in government for a long time, there's the argument that it's time for a change is naturally becomes more powerful. But also, some of the things that the previous Conservative governments have done over the last couple of years have really damaged the party's brand, and Sunak has a very hard job on his hands.
OK, Lord Barwell, good to talk to you this morning. Thank you very much indeed.